You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It's your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging with you guys. And today, super excited about getting a returning guest on the show. You guys know this gentleman. He's been all over social media lately and Instagram, and honestly just kicking butt with his lawn and landscaping business over from the Pennsylvania area. So returning guest to the show, we've got Cornell Mack joining us. Cornell, how's it going, brother? What's new in your neck of the woods?
Man, everything's getting new, you know what I mean? Everything. I'm excited about today. I'm excited to be on. I'm excited to share a little more of my story, and most of all, I'm excited for the future.
Absolutely. Well, we won't waste any time, man. We'll jump into it. You actually on the show. Help me out. What was it? Maybe last summer, or when did we get you on last?
It was episode 204. I know that, but it was last year. Sometime in the summer, I think. I can't remember.
It's been a blur.
Yeah, everything's moving quickly.
That's awesome, man. So that was episode 204. Really, really good podcast. I remember us talking about some heavy stuff towards the tail end of the podcast, and I still get people DMing me and sharing screenshots when you guys like good episodes of the podcast, and that was one that still is out there, people listening to and people are enjoying. So if you guys enjoyed this podcast, make sure you guys go full circle, listen to Mack's first time we had him on the podcast in an interview. So really quick, where do we even start? There's been so many updates for you with your first snow season, doing commercial snow plowing, residential snow plowing, equipment upgrades, business is booming. Talk about last time we got on the podcast. Let's do that. Where did we leave off? And then we were going into winter, and then let me know how winter went for you, brother.
Yeah, so we left off. It was before. It was before GIE. And Entrepreneur Academy and all that. So
wow, it
was basically right when we got hot and heavy into last year's season, and things was moving quickly. You know what I mean? So at the end of the year, though, I was like hoping to go to GIE, come to LAL, meet new people, and because I'm new, basically new into really trying to take hold of the business and make it a business. Mm-hmm. And not be like the Chuck in the truck type of guy, you know what I mean? So that's basically where I was. I was coming to the end of the season where I started to look at the numbers, see what we were going to do for the winter, and I came up with like a winter plan where I was going to come into the winter kind of slowly. I had got the multi-force last year, so that thing was, took my business to the next level, and I figured now I could go all year round. Mm-hmm. I wanted to just start with, really small, but I mean, you got to have goals in life, you know what I mean? If you set them too small, it really narrows your vision. But if you have a vision for the future, things happen. So I did set my goal small, and it was just to have 10 driveways, and charge maybe $50 and use the plow setup. The plow setup was only $3,200, and I got my winter fund saved up. That $3,200, I could probably make that back if it snows, 10 times. The year before, it snowed like 13 or 14 times. So I was kind of upset because I didn't have the multi-force yet last year.
Sure.
So it kind of slowed down where I wanted to go in terms of having money, going through the winter and supplementing that income that I had already created and, with my winter fund. So, long story short, I got offered, or not offered, but asked to come bid a commercial property that had, I think it had at the time, 13 sites on it. One driveway and 12, one parking lot, 12 driveways.
Wow.
So I went out and looked, and that was right before LAL. So I had turned the bid in right before LAL.
I remember this.
And
yeah.
Yep. So I came to LAL, turned the bid in the weekend of that. When I came home from LAL, they called me and accepted the bid. It was crazy. So
that's awesome.
Again, I had my site set small, going the residential route to try and build up, learn, to go through the pitfalls of doing the residential thing.
Sure.
Having the people call me, I've been watching your videos and other people's videos. And I was looking forward to having the neighbors call me, like, when is my driveway going to get done? Those type of things. But instead, this opportunity arose. You know what I mean? So what really happened is I ended up bidding this commercial property, getting it, and then I had to go get a plow. You know what I mean? So we ended up going the commercial route. So that's kind of what really happened. When that happened, the first person that I called was not called, but I DM'd you, and I said, "Hey, I got. I'm sorry, it wasn't you. It was Christian from CNI.
There you go.
CNI. He responded quickly. He was like, "Hey, get the Snow X." Right. So I went, looked at the Snow X. I didn't really like the price of that, so I hit you up. And you was like, definitely the Boss DXT. So I looked that up and I was like, yeah, I had the dual trip. I was like 9.2. Yes, I want to get the 9.2 because eventually I want to do bigger parking lots and things like that. So get the 9.2, but my truck is white and it's chrome, so I wanted to get the same still.
Absolutely.
No dealer around me had that. No dealer around me had that. So, I called around and ended up Weingart had it. The only place that was within 6 hours of my house. So I called Aaron, I think Hurlbrick from Weingart. He emailed me back the next day and was like, "We have everything you need." So I was like, "Word, I'm go ahead, get that order started." Now I just had to get the plow mount on. Luckily, I found a place that was local to me. I was able to get the plow mount, the Boss TGS 1100 tailgate salt spreader, which was kind of a strategic thing. So I'm doing this all by myself, so I needed to be able to take the tailgate spreader on and off alone. So if anybody's looking to get one of them, man, look at that. It's an awesome spreader, I think.
Well, I got to link up with you at Weingart's over here in Farmington Hills, Michigan, because we did that video. And actually, you're probably right to DM Christian first because he's got the same truck you do. And so I don't know, big is it F4? No, you got a Ram, right? Or is it which is it again? What's the truck?
Ram 3500. Ram 3500.
Yeah. Okay. I think he's got a Ford, 450, but very similar. Box truck, dump body at the on the backside, like those big Monroe dump inserts. And your truck is awesome, man. It's a huge truck. But Christian's got a similar one, the Ford version, and so you went with the 9.2 stainless. Awesome plow. I mean, how did it work and hold up for you the first season?
Amazing, man. It really blew me away. Like, I guess just how easy. Just how easy it was.
Cool.
With the V-plow. Especially for a lot of the driveways I was doing, they were like really long driveways. So it was like super easy, simple to just drop the plow in the V position and just drive up the driveway.
Yeah.
Turn around, come back down, drop it again, and spread the salt at the same time. And
that's awesome.
I'd be doing these driveways in like 8 minutes, you know what I mean? So it was really, really cool. I was very, very impressed.
Summer showers, dust that chokes, acres that just won't end. Exmark knows the job of a landscape professional isn't an easy one. That's why we've crafted a legendary line of mowers built to overcome any obstacle. So you're ready to close the deal and finish the job, like you always do. Cut from the same red metal as your Exmark mower, you aren't just good at this. You were built for this.
Let me ask you this, because the first couple of weeks you were getting a little nervous, if I remember correctly, because you were like, "Hey, you said there's white gold, man. I don't see no snow in the forecast." And I said, "Hey, man, you're barking up the wrong tree. I don't control the weather, man. That's the government." And just kidding, but hashtag chemtrails. But I was just messing. But you were like, "When's this white gold coming?" I'm like, "Just be patient. It always comes, And so when did you guys first get your first snowfall, and what were you thinking as you headed out the door? Like, it's game time? Were you nervous, excited?
Well, to be honest, I was nervous because when they accepted the thing, I was nervous because I didn't have the plow yet. I had the mount, I had the soldier and everything, but I still didn't have the plow.
Sure.
So I was at first nervous that it would snow. Then I got the plow, like right at the, I think, at the beginning of December. And now I'm like, please let it snow. Please let it snow. Please let it snow.
Sure.
And it didn't snow for the whole month. And then I'm like panicking. I just invested all of this money. You know what I mean? Basically drained the winter fund down a lot. And invested all of this money, and the snow's not coming. And then we got through Christmas and everything, got through New Year's. It was, no lie, the whole time, through the whole month of December, it was 50, 55, 60, 66.
That's not cool.
I was panicking. And as soon as New Year's comes, it was like 28, and then boom, we got a storm on, I think, the 3rd.
Okay.
And this storm, it lasted for like a day and a half. It just kept snowing and snowing and snowing. And then we had like another couple warm days, and then boom, we got hit with another big one. And we ended up going out in January, I think, 9 times. So January was a very good month. Got the entire investment back in January, and we're already in the, what is it called, the black?
Yeah. Yep.
Is it the black or the black? So we're already in the black on the plow investment.
Wow.
Going forward into the future. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Good for you, man. I like hearing that kind of stuff because I always tell folks, like, snow's kind of a gamble. You know, it's it all depends how you make your contracts too. And we've got some other great podcasts where we've talked about how we set that up. And some guys are all per push, some guys are all prepay, some are prepay for the commercials and push for the residential. Some are prepay for the residentials, push for their commercial, and all that mess. And you guys have heard, you know, all the podcast ads for snow contracts and all that other mess on Launchpreneur Academy, which is great. I'm not going to do that here and now, but I always tell folks, like, snow's a little bit more intricate. It's a little bit more maybe nail biting, you know, and we're in the same boat. I don't think we got much snow. I have to look back on it, but we didn't get much in November or first part of December. And you're kind of like, hey, like, payroll's going out, man, you know, $5,000, you know, whatever. And depending on how you guys get paid and what your guys' salaries are. And if it's not coming in, like you said, that account goes down and down and down. But that's why I personally have a bunch of residential prepays to pay the bills for the winter, and we don't fret. Commercials all the gravy train, if you will. But that's really, really cool, man. I'm excited for you that the plow worked out and the snow started to come. And so you were cleaning up pretty well in January. How did February work out for you guys?
It's, you know, we got a couple little clippers at the beginning of February, and then it warmed up, you know.
Okay.
But when it warmed up, that gave, you know, me time to look at some other things. And that's when this guy, John Doyle, who he runs Doyle Brothers Lawn Care here in Pittsburgh, he had hit me up and was like, hey, we should start a group. And so started a little Facebook group, and that led to us having meetups.
Oh, cool.
And now our little landscaping group here in Pittsburgh has 28 members currently, and it seems to be growing every week. So
that's cool.
That's been pretty exciting.
Yeah. Where what's the name of the group? So if people want to link up and find you guys,
it's called, I believe, Pittsburgh Lawn and Landscape Business Owners Group. Okay. So yeah, or you can, you know, friend request me, and then I can invite you, or inbox me on IG or Facebook, and, you know, we can get you in there. If you're in the area and would like to join, that would be awesome. We'd love to have you.
That's awesome, man. Let me ask you this: what's the biggest challenge that you had during the winter, and then maybe like biggest takeaway? Like what was your something you overestimated, underestimated? You know, like biggest challenge, and then what's your biggest takeaway that you got from this first season plowing snow?
The biggest challenge was probably learning how much salt to use, you know, and what spreader setting to have it on, and you know, the salt's white, so I had found actually the cheapest place that I could find the sodium chloride magnesium mix was Sam's Club. So
okay.
I found pallets of that stuff from Sam's Club, and you know, then I found another place that could give me a better price on that. So it was basically learning how to find where to get the salt and actually where to store it. That was an issue too. I didn't really have anywhere to store it, so I couldn't really buy like 5 or 6 pallets of salt at one time. I figured if I used bagged salt this first year, it would like let me understand how much salt it took, or I guess we call it ice melt, how much ice melt it took to cover a parking lot. What spreader should I have it on, and that type of thing. There's some YouTube videos for the spreader that I have, but there ain't many. And, people aren't the greatest at explaining things all the time. I know I tried to shoot a YouTube video today. It's probably going to be awful, but we'll see how that goes.
well, the TGS 800 and 1100, I think there's like maybe even a 600. They all have different internals, so they're different with the different product they want to put down. Some are better than others at other things, and I can totally relate, by the way, with the salt. We have a subcontractor for our bulk salt, but I still do all the ice melt for the sidewalks and also for a handful of residentials that we do as well. And I actually just cleared out we have JetBlue that we've been using from Tilson Brands. And I just, on our last snowstorm, used our last couple bags, which I'm really grateful for because I had like 40 bags stuck in my garage still. And I'm like, I need to get this all out before we move, in the next 12, 18 months, But we probably will go through another winter before we make the move to our new place if we are able to build starting this summer. But I'm probably going to re-up on Hot Pink De-icer with Troy Clog and those guys and get a pallet and probably get it at our storage locker and keep it dry and keep it out of the weather, But what was your biggest... so that was your biggest challenge and all that fun stuff. What's your best takeaway, you think, from plowing snow? Was it worth it? Not worth it?
It was definitely worth it. This was the first year that this is my sixth lawn care season. But will be the first year that I actually made any money in, January or February.
Okay.
Or March. So, it was well worth it, I think. I ain't complaining at all. I'm very, very happy.
That's awesome, man. It's good for you guys. Well, in the winter fund, did you learn that from Johnny Moe? Is that what you're referencing?
Yep.
Well, for some of the folks that haven't heard those kind of like OG YouTube videos, and some people subscribe to this, some people don't. No right or wrong answer, but it's really conservative, good thought process. But can you explain that really quick? What you guys did or used to do even, and then or maybe still do with that winter fund, and what you learned from Johnny?
Well, basically, the winter fund was just I'm now full time, and I didn't have money. I wasn't going to have money coming in because at the time I didn't have a snowplow or anything like that. So I didn't want to be stressing out knowing that there's no money coming in. And we went through everything that, when the getting was good during the warm up. So I just kind of went through all of the numbers on the bills that we would need to pay and knew what that number was. And I would just save everything, until, got to, the time in the winter. It's sort of like, back in the day, you got to go fill up the food. You got to fill up the coffers for the winter time when there ain't no growth. And, I figured that would be the best way to go about it. I didn't get into this business and go full time to be stressed out and have free time. I wanted to be prepared so that there's no stress in my lifestyle and the things that I want to do in my life. Excuse me. The things that I want to do in my life that I can accomplish them. Because I ain't in the lawn care game just to make money and have nice mowers or start a YouTube channel or be friends with Brian. I'm in the lawn care game so that I could have the future that I want to have. You know what I mean? I want to be home at 4:30, so I couldn't do that when I had a job. I got into the lawn care business. Now I get to make that decision. And it's not just good for me. It's good for my family. It's good for the employee who works for me. My guy, a.k.a. Captain Jack. His name is Matt, but I call him Captain Jack, but he's been with me for 3 years.
Cool.
He's grown as well. So the things that I'm doing in my life are for those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I do what I do. So.
Well, you and you have a great family too, by the way. You talked about them heavily on the first podcast. And one day I'm gonna get over to PA, man. And I have some family. It's kind of weird. Like they're not related to us, but we call them family. They're my mom's friends from in the 50s and 60s that that she knows are over in Pittsburgh area. So I need to get over there. I haven't been over that way in 7 or 8 years at least, maybe a decade. But we'll have to do a PA meetup or something, man. Like May, June, July. Get over there and hang out with a bunch of people. There's so many great people in Pennsylvania, like JC Lawn Care or JC Landscapes, whatever. I know the guys, all those guys over Kelvin and those guys. I need to get over there, and Caleb Robin, and there's so many other people in PA. You name one, you name them all. But by the way, my brain's also fried, Cornell, because yesterday was the MGIA trade show, and I'm meeting folks and people and fans or whatever you want to call it, and then I'm trying to meet people and network and meet my dealers and all that. So dude, like yesterday, bro, it was a long day. So, and today's been doing 100 different things as well, end of month stuff, so my brain's fried. But hey, I had a quick question for you. Let me ask you two questions. What was the best resource that you had to learn the snow plowing? Like, I don't know if that makes any sense, but like, what was the best resource that you had to learn as much snow from? And I'm not asking it because I'm hoping it's Launchpreneur Academy. I just mean genuinely asking, like, was it YouTube videos? Was it some podcasts? Somebody local, maybe the local Facebook group that you guys created. And then what was something that maybe was left out? Like what was the best resources that you learned as much as you could, but what was something that was maybe left out? Maybe it was the salt thing you were alluding to, but what was something that was maybe left out that you wish you would have knew, going into the season?
Well, the biggest resource, I'm not going to say it because I'm on here. It was, your information with the whole ball of wax that I had access to.
Cool.
The contract, watching like where to put to go to the property and figure out where to put the snow and everything. But I originally started to think about getting into snow plowing because of my buddy here, who was the first local landscaper that I met, who was I wouldn't say the first guy that was nice, but the first guy who I talked to, and he was really approachable with information and everything. His name's Gordon Cahill, and he owns and operates GPC Landscaping here.
Cool.
In the same area as me. He does a lot of excavation work, and he could do all of the big type things. So he's awesome. But he was really like a driving force, and man, you got to get a plow. You got to get a plow. You got to do this because you're good at this, so you got to do this. And he was pushing me and pushing me and pushing me.
Wow.
And again, like I said, I set my goals low because I was kind of afraid. Mm-hmm. He was just like, no, you have to do this. And then when I did it, I was so happy. He was the first person I text, like, yo, thank you. You know what I mean? Thanks for, at LAL, Keith Kalfas talked about borrowed belief. You know what I mean? Sometimes people are going to believe in you more than you believe in yourself. And he believed in me that I could get that done. You know what I mean? So I used that and I did that. And so, but yeah, it was him and him and the stuff in LAL,
That's awesome.
And then one of the biggest challenges was just the salt, because nobody can really teach you that. I mean, people can say what they say, but people have different setups. Like
right.
Gordon had a different salt spreader than I did, so it didn't matter what he said because it didn't relate. You know what I mean? The information. So, but
I like it.
The biggest resource I think that I have now in the lawn care game would be networking. Like this meetup, you get to meet people, and I think that's what GIE and LAL did for me. It's like it gives you the opportunity to meet people, because I felt like I was weird. I mean, I always feel like I'm weird because I'm a psychopath once I decide that I want to do something, whatever that particular thing is, whether it was shooting a basketball or, being the best at the group home facility I worked at, or now in the lawn care game, and eventually, I guess, social media. Like, I want to learn how to be the absolute best, so it absolutely consumes me. When I got to this meetup, it was like I was around a whole bunch of people that were crazy like me. And maybe they ain't as crazy as I am, but they were coming there for the same reason, because they feel something inside. You know what I mean?
They're hungry for it.
Yeah. This meetup, I'm like meeting other people in my neighborhood who are hungry. And I've learned a lot. Like, I've been inspired by John Doyle and Brad Bardner with BWB Lawn Care, and Cedric Owens over at Still Cuts Lawn and Landscaping.
Yeah. They came to LAL too. I didn't know.
Yeah,
I didn't know you
sure.
guys. I didn't know you guys were all over there in PA. I didn't know that's where they're from. My bad. That's awesome.
Well, he's in Ohio.
Oh.
He's in Ohio, but he's from the same neighborhood that I live in currently.
Oh wow.
So
No
him
shit.
and I linked up, and now we're super close. Like he comes to visit me whenever he comes.
Yeah.
You know. So,
Yeah. They both came to LAL too, so that was actually pretty dope. And I also saw him at Expo before then, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll see you next month." I'm like, "What are you doing next month?" He's like, "I'm coming to your show, dum dum." You know, I'm like, "Oh yeah." So, but he was actually a really cool dude, and that's awesome, man. Well, and that's the thing too. Like, I do these podcasts, and you guys know we create a bunch of content. Maybe you guys are new here. It's like Lon's Lessons Life, right? We're always trying to help you guys grow and share from our successes and our failures, which, you know, let's be honest, there's been way more failures than successes. But it's not like what am I trying to say here? It's not like a pitch to get you guys to go to our live event in November or Expo in October. You know, it's like, if you don't go, no offense, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother Cornell. Like, it doesn't hurt our business or pocketbook. Like, we're trying to let other folks know, like, dude, there's these awesome events that you can plug in and resources and network and make friends. And I mean, prime example, I was doing a coaching call with a young guy this morning, Dylan, really cool dude over in South Jersey. And he's like, how do you like meet these people and like make friends? And how have you networked with so many people? And I'm like, I just literally have went to a bunch of things. I'm like, and he was over in Jersey, like I was saying, and I said, go to the contractor showcase and then meet Mike G305, and there's another guy, Mike Garvey, that's over has a fertilizer company. A bunch of other folks. You know, you name one, you got to name them all. But I said, go meet Sean Collingsgrew, and then ask those guys what's the local things to do and see and meet, and where do you go and where do you get your stuff. And I said those are going to be more practical, boots on the ground kind of conversations, but you don't get those opportunities if you don't go. You know, and so you're actually like spearheading. What was the motivation and the idea behind creating the Facebook group and the local chapter, if you will, for you guys over in Pittsburgh area?
Well, I'll speak for my own self. It was basically to network, you know, but for me, what my overall goal was, and I told everyone this at the meetup, like my overall goal was to form a brotherhood with one another.
Cool.
We're not out here, like, a lesson that you could be in life, right? Be a congratulator, not a hater. If you congratulate the people around you and you look at world and say that, you know, whatever circumstance that you went through, you look at it as a positive way, like, then you're not going to be a hater. You know what I mean? You're going to use the things that happen to you as something to spearhead you to do something better. Mm-hmm. So my goal with going to the thing was just to let everyone know, listen, we are not competitors. I'm not competing with any of you. I've already accomplished what my goal was, which is only 100 yards. Mm-hmm. I'm at 96 or whatever. So why do I need to not like you or not try to share work that's in your area with you? You know, and what I want is to meet people's children. You know what I mean? What I want is to have a future with people who I've watched grow the same as me because we've had the same mutual interest and love the same type of things. Not that I want to exclude anyone from that, but when I'm around other lawn care guys, I feel at home. I don't feel weird talking about my dreams and my goals. And to them, it doesn't sound like I'm bragging. It sounds like the same thing that they want because that's what we all started this for.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the main goal of the meetup was like to let everyone know, hey, we're here to share information. We're here to help each other grow and prosper into the future. We're here to create a brotherhood. We're here to let each other know that I'm not competing with you. I'm here to help you.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So that was what the main goal is. Sorry for being long-winded, but I'm very passionate about, you know, everyone winning. Like, we are all meant to win. God preordained that for you.
I like it.
You know what I mean? Like, it's preordained for you to win, but you got to be able to see the forest through the trees. You can't get stuck on the dead tree that's right in front of you. You got to back up sometimes and look at your life and look at the things as a positive. Like, everything led to you being alive today, and you can change whatever the trajectory is for your future based off how you see what has happened to you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so if people seem to be on the same page in the lawn care game, you know what I mean? Everybody wants to do something for whatever reason. That reason just got to be strong enough.
Well, I you know, and I love what you're saying. You're getting me all fired up, you know. But I've noticed, like, some people get that, some people don't, and you can't really do anything about the people that don't. But like, for example, an analogy I saw was or heard once was like, somebody else left a ladder for you to climb up, and you get to the top of that roof, climb that ladder, get to wherever it is, you get to the roof, and there's some people that leave the ladder, you know, and they're like letting other people climb up. And then other people, they pull up the ladder behind them, you know, and you're like, now if you're the new guy on the ground, you're like, well, how am I supposed to get up there? And the best leaders are the ones that leave the ladder, put the ladder down, and frankly, even maybe come down 2 steps and say, dude, come on up. I'll give you a hand. Like, let's go. And so it's working together, man. And so you didn't just like go, hey, there's this ladder here. Like, I'm selfishly just going to climb it. Oh, you know, I'm going to take the ladder too, you know, by the way. So the last guy left the ladder, but I'm just going to take it with me. I'm going to go up on the roof and take the ladder, and ain't nobody else coming up here. Well, you can do that, or you can help other people climb the ladder, and they can be friends. They can network. Rising tide raises all ships. They can turn into great subcontractors. And to me, that's what it's all about. Like, I'll give you a really specific, simple example. Literally just this morning, real time. There's a local guy next to me named Brett. He's a really good dude. You guys have seen him on my videos and podcasts and all that mess. But he had texted me this morning. He's like, hey, dude, this customer called. It was a customer I had for a little while, and then didn't do this last year in 2021, whatever we were just in. And he goes, I think this is one of yours, or you used to do it. And I texted him back. I said, no, I used to do it. They didn't like the price when I raised it a couple bucks, so they canceled, and they had some other people doing it. And then whoever else did it did a horrible job, which is, you know, probably why they're shopping around. So he goes, I don't want to take it if it was yours. He goes, what do you want me to do? And I said, I don't care. He goes, what were you getting on it? I told him what I was getting for it. And I think it was $38. I told him. And or that's what I had raised it to, 38. And he goes, all right, I'm going to tell him, I'm going to tell him, hey, if you want lawn care service, go with Brian. Brian's on maintenance if you happen to know him. He's great. And, but if not, I can do it. It's just going to be $42. So, but that's like a dude that has your back. And Brett's doing way more like landscaping, hardscaping, construction type stuff. He's trying to get into full time of just that. He's got like 2 or 3 days of mowing, down to 2 days, down to 1 day of mowing now. So he's kind of cherry picking anyway. So he doesn't really want more lawn customers. And here's the thing, like you were saying, I've networked with all the guys in my area. Like, hey, here's my goals. Here's what I'm looking for. Here's what I'm not looking for. And so he knew that I'm looking to get more customers, get my route density even tighter and more condensed, you know. And it was just funny because he's like, I'm just going to tell him $42. That way yours sounds like a deal. But if I didn't know Brett would be like, oh man, like I'm going to get it for 34 and like undercut me if he happened to know I was getting paid 38. Right. And it's like, that's that race to the bottom stuff. And we got to get rid of that mentality in our industry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Get me all fired up. I'm trying to like not get all fired up and start talking, you know, cause like, I'll talk for 10 minutes, bro. Like last time we did a podcast, you got me all fired up. But
I'm the same way. So I'm afraid to not overpower Brian on his own podcast.
No, I was about to do that. I was about to let you go. I was gonna go make a sandwich and come back in 20 because I know you'd be doing your sermon. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. No, man, it's just an inspiring thing, especially when you look at this. Man, listen, man, the kids who are young. And when I say young and I say kids, I don't even mean children. But there are some great children like Ethan Jackson, who's out there in Michigan. Yeah. That lawn care kid, Henrik, I believe is his name. Yep. The 10-year-old Gabe, like he's awesome. Mm-hmm. Over here in Pittsburgh, we got this kid named Tommy with TM Landscaping. He's 17. He has 45 yards, I believe. Like this dude's a rock star. We got this other guy named Talon Off with Authority Landscaping. He's 20 years old. He just started his junior baseball season at Penn State New Ken, and he's out here killing it over here. And then there's this kid named Anthony Class with Excalibur Landscaping. He's 21. This dude can do everything. Wow. And I'm like, yo, when I look at them, they, you know, some of them are looking at me and they're like, you know, you're cool. Your trailer setup's nice and everything like that. And I look at them and I'm like, bruh, your boys are 20, 19, 17, 16. They're out here crushing it. And I'm like, yo, it's so inspiring because they get it already.
Mm-hmm.
That is the most beautiful thing, is to see a young person, because I'm 38, I'll be 39 this year.
Yeah.
But to see a young person who actually understands that they are in control of their own destiny. And those kids, by the time, you know, they're 23, 24 years old, 25 years old, they're going to be multimillionaires.
Literally.
And imagine the things that they're going to be able to do for the world, because they're not going to look at money as something that, you know, they need to keep and they need to shield, because they know they have the ability to go out and make a lot of it. And then they can share their information with the world, and they're willing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is so inspiring to me, you know. And then you got older dudes who now we're learning. Like, I'm learning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning from these young dudes. Like, you can learn from anyone. You just got to be willing to accept that knowledge.
I'm right there with you, man. I'm 35. I feel like I'm 19 with my company. I'm having more fun than ever, and I'm also inspired more than ever. You know, like hanging out with all these young guys. You were naming a few already over here by us, and I'm just like, it's exciting. I think the future is wide open, and you know, having some of these young guys know their worth, right, and like putting the foot down and not letting people talk them down or all this other mess. These are lessons I didn't learn until I was 30, you know, and it's inspiring nonetheless. Well, hey, I got a hard stop here in about 3 minutes. I actually got a 4:15 coaching call, but wanted to get you on the show, man, get an update. I think we kind of talked about what we wanted to talk about, which is really, really good. Where can people find you? Where can people follow up with you? You got a lot of great things going on, and we'll button up right here.
Yeah, Mack_landscaping on IG, Mack Landscaping and Lawn Care on Facebook, and we'll have a website coming soon. Go follow and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I should have a setup video here coming out soon. And if you like what you heard, man, go subscribe now, because it's going to come hot and heavy once I get comfortable in that camera.
Well, you got some great things going on. The truck, the trailer, the equipment, business mindset. Excited about seeing what you bring down the pike in the rest of 2022 and beyond, man. And then really quick, episode 204, is that what you said earlier?
Yeah, episode 204.
All right, we'll try to link that in the show notes, and you guys can go back here the first episode, and I think we were talking big time about family and legacy, which was really powerful stuff, man. It's not always about lawns; it's also lessons in life, amen. So, all right, man. Well, that's what we got right here with Mack's Landscape and Cornell. Appreciate the time, brother, and we'll definitely look forward to catching up with you here on the next one. All right.
Yep.
All right, guys. Over and out. Well, guys, thanks again for listening to this episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Appreciate you guys listening. A new podcast Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 a.m. sharp. And hope you guys get the mind food and the exciting content to keep you guys motivated out there as you guys go cut grass, do landscaping, contracting, hardscaping, and everything in between. All right, guys. Over and out from this episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. We look forward to catching up with you guys here on the next one.
Summer showers, dust that chokes, acres that just won't end. Exmark knows the job of a landscape professional isn't an easy one. That's why we've crafted a legendary line of mowers built to overcome any obstacle. So you're ready to close the deal and finish the job, like you always do. Cut from the same red metal as your Exmark mower, you aren't just good at this. You were built for this.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.